The Galactic Council had seen many species rise and fall across the centuries, but none had puzzled them quite like humanity. They were contradictions wrapped in flesh, capable of devastating wars, yet inexplicably tender, ruthlessly efficient, yet irrationally compassionate. Nara stood at the entrance of the medical bay aboard the Resolve, humanity's diplomatic vessel, her hand resting gently on the door panel. Inside, a small Velcrin cub whimpered, its chitinous plates still soft with youth, its compound eyes reflecting fear in 1,000 fractured images. The child had been found in the wreckage of a destroyed trading post, the sole survivor of what appeared to be a pirate raid. "You're safe," Nara had whispered to the trembling creature when they'd first brought it aboard. Her voice steady despite the cub's venomous barbs instinctively extended in terror. She'd knelt beside the medical pod, ignoring the warnings from her tactical officer, and placed her bare hand near enough for the cub to sense her warmth. "I promise you, little one, you're safe now." The Velcrin were not known for their fondness of humans. Their empire had clashed with Earth's colonies twice in the past century, brief skirmishes that left bitter memories on both sides. Yet here was Nara, chief medical officer and xenobiologist, treating this child as if it were her own species. Commander Jex had watched the interaction from the doorway, his jaw tight. He was a warrior through and through, broad-shouldered, scarred from a dozen campaigns, with eyes that had seen both the best and worst of sentient behavior. The plasma rifle mag-locked to his back was as much a part of him as his own arm. "Doctor," he'd said quietly, "the Velcrin delegation is approaching. They're demanding the cub's return." "They're demanding the cub's return." Nara hadn't looked up. "Tell them they can see their child, when I'm certain it's stable. The trauma alone could kill it if we're not careful." "They're not asking, Doctor. They're demanding. And they're armed." That's when Nara had turned, her brown eyes meeting Jex's gray ones with an intensity that made even the hardened commander pause. "Then you tell them that if they want to see this child alive, they'll wait. And Jex, when they do come aboard, they come in peace." The Velcrin warriors arrived within the hour, their crystalline armor gleaming under the ship's lights, their triple-jointed limbs moving with predatory grace. Ambassador Thexral led them, his mandibles clicking with barely suppressed rage. "You hold our young hostage, human," he hissed through the translator. "This is an act of war." Jex stood in the corridor, blocking the path to the medical bay. Behind him, his security team had assembled 12 of humanity's finest, each armed with enough firepower to level a small building. The tension was thick enough to cut. "The child is receiving medical care," Jex said evenly. "Nothing more. We will take what is ours." Jex's hand didn't move toward his weapon. Instead, he did something that made the Velcrin warriors freeze in confusion. He reached back and unclasped his rifle, handing it to Lieutenant Morrison behind him. Then he removed his sidearm, his combat knife, even the small plasma torch on his belt. "What are you doing?" Thexral demanded. "You want to see the cub?" Jex asked, his voice calm. "You can. But Dr. Nara made a promise to that child, that it's safe. I won't let you make her a liar." One by one, the other human warriors followed suit. Morrison set down her weapon. Corporal Chen removed his belt of ordnance. Sergeant Okafor placed his rifle against the wall. Within moments, 12 of humanity's most dangerous soldiers stood unarmed in the corridor. The Velcrin delegation chittered among themselves in their native language, their confusion evident even without translation. "You disarm yourselves?" Thexral's voice carried genuine bewilderment. "In the presence of your enemies?" "Well, the cub doesn't need to see weapons," Jex said simply. "It's been through enough. You want to enter? You leave your weapons here too. All of them." The standoff lasted nearly a full minute. Thexral's warriors shifted, their fighting instincts warring with something else. Perhaps curiosity, perhaps respect. Finally, the ambassador reached back and unclasped his own plasma caster, setting it carefully on the deck. His warriors followed. When the door to the medical bay slid open, Nara was sitting cross-legged beside the pod, humming softly a human lullaby that had no meaning to Velcrin ears, yet somehow conveyed comfort in its tone. The cub's barbs had retracted, and it was watching Nara with less fear now, more curiosity. Thexral stopped at the threshold, his compound eyes taking in the scene. The human female, unarmed and vulnerable, sitting within striking distance of a creature whose venom could kill her in seconds, the medical equipment around them calibrated specifically for Velcrin physiology equipment that must have cost considerable resources to program. Mama. The cub suddenly clicked, seeing Thexral. It tried to rise, but Nara's hand gently steadied it. Carefully, little one, she said softly. Your carapace is still healing. Thexral moved forward slowly, and Nara stood, stepping back to give the ambassador space. Father and child reunited with a series of clicks and whistles that needed no translation. Later, as the Velcrin delegation prepared to depart with the cub safely in their care, Thexral approached Jex on the hangar deck. I do not understand you, humans, he said. You are warriors, yet you disarm yourselves for a child that is not your own. Your doctor risked venom exposure for a species that has killed your kind. Jex looked at the ambassador, then back toward the medical bay where Nara was already cleaning up, preparing for whatever came next. That's because you're thinking about it wrong, he said. We didn't see an enemy's child. We saw a child. That's all that mattered. Thexral was silent for a long moment. Perhaps, he finally clicked, we have misjudged your species. As the Velcrin shuttle departed, Nara joined Jex at the viewport, watching it disappear into the stars. Think that'll change anything? Jex asked. Nara smiled faintly. One child at a time, Commander. That's how you change everything. And somewhere in the vast documentation of the Galactic Council, a new notation appeared in humanity's file. Species displays paradoxical behavior. Extreme violence capability coexists with extreme protective instinct. Recommend further study. Potential diplomatic implications significant.